Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow. When I last left you guys, I was musing about some other games that I like, of a particular genre, mostly horror. Again, I'm sorry if that upset anybody, but I like talking a lot about things that aren't what I'm currently doing. Here's another one of those teleporter rooms. This would have been nice to know about beforehand, but that's alright. That being said, I'm just going to try to fill in a lot of the monotony of this game with talking about other things because, well, there's a lot of walking and a lot of stabbing things, but in terms of overall value of engagement, as far as you guys watching me do this, sometimes it's going to get a little tedious, so I figured I'd entertain you in other ways. And that's the best way that I know how, because I talk a lot. I don't particularly like to hear myself talk, I just like talking a lot. That's part of the way that I was raised, so... At any rate, so again, I'm sorry if that bothers you, but I'm going to keep doing it, so deal with it. At any rate, I was talking about horror games that I'm a big fan of, and I believe at some point earlier on in the series I mentioned that I'm a big fan of Halo, and that's definitely still true. Not that I think that game's scary or anything, it's not. It's another one of those action-packed thrill rides that I really enjoy, and I've been playing Halo pretty much since it came out. I haven't recently. I don't play online or anything, only because, well, quite frankly, I just don't have the time for it anymore. Adulthood has that impact on people, I believe. That being said, I'm nowhere near as good at that game in terms of multiplayer ability as I used to be in my prime, about maybe 7-8 years ago, when Halo 4 was still the big thing. I guess it wasn't 7-8 years, like 6 years ago. Anyway, that was my prime time, pretty much. Nowhere near as good as I used to be back then, but I still really enjoy playing through the campaign. Firefight's still a lot of fun. Anything cooperative, you know, I'm finding now that I have less time to play things that I used to. For example, back when I was in high school and early college and didn't have a job and didn't have to worry about, you know, working full-time and making money to support myself. I could just spend as much time as I wanted playing games, much to the chagrin of my parents. But now that I can't do that anymore, I tend to value playing things that are engaging to multiple people at once, so I like co-op games a lot. Especially action-packed co-op games that I get a lot of enjoyment out of, and the person playing with me gets a lot of thrill out of, so... I just picked up samurai armor. I think that's actually better than these fatigues. It is. It still has the +3 attack bonus, as you can see, but it's got even more defense on it. So we're going to put the samurai armor on. And I picked up a battle axe from that Minotaur a minute ago. That is much the same vein as the hammer, in that it's bulky and big and strong, but very slow. And I don't like it, so I won't be using that either. And unfortunately, that stupid Minotaur would be dead to rights, and it hurts like a truck, so... Here's one of the more odd monsters in the game. This is the waiter skeleton, who carries around a tray of hors d'oeuvres that he throws at you. I think he actually throws his head at you, too. If you destroy his tray of hors d'oeuvres and he doesn't have anything to throw at you, then he'll throw his head at you instead. If I'm not mistaken, there's a... Nope, maybe not. I know the ceiling in one of these rooms in this area is a hidden room. And I can find it right now, but I won't be able to get into it until I have another means of traveling vertically, which right now I don't beyond double jumping. There will be a couple of different means for obtaining vertical height later on. I just don't have them yet. Got a level up from Mr. Kato Bleep is here. There was a bunch of flea men behind him too, I don't know if you noticed. I'm not a fan of these guys in the slightest. Katana certainly hurts a lot more than that spear does, that's for darn sure. At any rate, I was discussing my proclivity for Halo, at any rate. So, that's something that I probably will not be playing here. Yep, like I said, he takes his head off when he's out of hors d'oeuvres to throw at you. Always fun. Only because that's not something that I feel is easily broken up in, like, episodic form, Halo. And also because it's kind of long, and I don't want to be sitting here for an hour at a time playing through one level and have you guys get tired. Especially because not every last minute of that game is action-packed. There's quite a bit of walking around in it. Maybe, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't played Halo 5 pretty much since it came out. I bought an Xbox One just for that game. In fact, I bought the variant of it. Oh, look at that. I got a Wigger Skeleton Soul. I sling hot curry at foes. Awesome. I bought an Xbox One, the Halo 5 edition, just for Halo 5, and I've barely touched it. I think I beat the campaign, played a little bit of multiplayer, and then I was done. So, that being said, I am very curious to see what comes of Halo Infinite. I believe that was announced earlier this year as their next project in the Halo universe. And it looks like it's going to be like a pervasive online experience, and it's going to be on PC, in addition to Xbox. And I don't know that I've talked about this on here at all yet, but I'm a big PC gamer now. I have a very competitive, not competitive, but like a very powerful gaming rig. Let's just put it that way. I did build it myself. That's my day job is computer stuff, so might as well put that to use. That being said, oh, I got the Durga Soul too. Look at that. Throws katanas. Hey, since I'm swinging one of those, why don't I go ahead and throw them too? Yeah, I'm a big fan of my current machine that I built. It's future-proof for a couple of years at any rate. Got a nice beefy graphics card in it, lots of memory. And actually, it's funny. I've actually used the same case for all my computer builds for the last decade. And I tend to upgrade it every 3 or so years. So there's effectively 3 generations of computer parts that have been in this case. But I'm using the same one. I'm a huge fan of it because it's a solid steel case, which you really can't get anymore, I don't think. Not easily at any rate, but it's also got, this is the best part, the best buying point of my case, it's got like a carry handle on it. So if I go somewhere for a LAN party, I can just carry the thing in one arm with a nice little carry handle. It's really solid too. It's like bolted to the outside of the case, it's like a nice rubber grip. The thing weighs a solid ton though. My computer case probably weighs a good 35-40 pounds. Hey look, a zombie officer soul. Jumping while taking damage restores health. This one I'm confused about. I'm not really sure how it works, to be honest with you. A lot of these soul descriptions are actually mistranslated, because this game originally was in Japanese. So I don't quite know what this one does, but I know it's not really all that useful, so I'm going to be avoiding using that, probably. I kind of like my +4 luck at the moment anyway, because it's been doing work so far. I'm certainly okay with that. There's another weapon that I can't quite get, because I can't duck anything. I somehow missed this hole in the floor, which is where I'm supposed to be going, by the way. You'll notice I'm still getting the dance hall music in this area. However, this is clearly no longer a dance hall. This is like a wine cellar or some such. Not quite like catacomb level underground. Here we go. Here's the first boss now as a normal monster. And I can kind of come in here and whack at him at my leisure and try to farm his soul if I desired to. I don't right now, but I have that option now. Here's something sneaky. If you weren't looking closely enough, you might think that thing in front of me is just another box. It's actually a wooden golem with a ton of health, and he kicks rocks, which hurt just as much as him kicking me does. There is a variety of different flavors of golem in this game, and they are all mean. They all have a ton of HP, very hard to kill, and usually hit like trucks also. In fact, there is a particular flavor of golem, very late in the game, that has 9,999 HP, and no matter what weapon you use on it, no matter what spell you use on it, it takes 1 damage per hit. And you might be wondering, well, how in the world can you possibly kill that thing? There is one way to do it. In fact, it's the only way to do it. And I will explain that to you when we get there, but that's not for quite some time yet. But needless to say, golems are mean, and they are difficult. So, if you go up against them, make sure you come prepared. They're very similar in certain respects to that great armor that I fought, in that they're very tanky and slow. I guess you could say those animated armor suits and golems are largely in the same vein for the most part, and they are. They behave a little differently, but all that way down through this wine cellar for 500 bucks. Although I do believe that particular sack of $500 respawns, so if I come down here again, I can get another 500 bucks. I'm not going to sit here and farm that, because I really don't need the money all that badly. Not yet, at any rate. There is an item that Hammer sells much later on that is the best item in the game, but it's also the most expensive. It costs, I believe, somewhere in the ballpark of 300,000 gold. So I'm going to be pinching my pennies probably and trying to get that. But even if you save all the money you get through the course of normal gameplay, you don't have anywhere near enough. Not to my knowledge, at any rate. So there is a lot of methods for obtaining quick cash in this game. Some of them more sneaky than others. Some of them more risky than others, certainly. I've used just about all of them I can think of. For example, there is I think it's either a soul or a ring that you can equip that whenever you take damage, it gives you cash. And one thing you can do is hang out right outside of a save room with a bed of spikes and just get hit by those and farm serious cash really quickly. But if you're not careful, the spikes just kill you. Throw sharpened butcher knives. That sounds like fun. There are spikes in this game, but they're not like, you know, Mega Man or Sonic the Hedgehog style spikes that kill you instantly. They just do a crap ton of damage. In fact, I think they do a flat percentage of your HP. So no matter how much HP you have, the spikes will still kill you in like 5 or 6 hits. So you got to be really, really careful of that. And of course, spikes tend to be... Hey, I got a golem soul, or a wooden golem soul. MP recovery rate increase. Nice. That's a good spellcasting soul. The spikes tend to be very dangerous, and they also tend to be in places that are the most obnoxious. For example, I think the greatest proliferation of spikes in the game is in the clock tower area of the castle, which is the most difficult and annoying to traverse, in addition to being covered in spikes. Because why not? I guess. I don't know what they were thinking. They were probably thinking they wanted to torture people. And the clock tower is certainly torturous. That's for darn sure. At any rate, here is a save room, and as you can see, we have a boss door here. I think we have time to take that boss down before the end of this episode, so let's do that real quick. This is, as I mentioned, the last regular enemy boss. This is the Big Golem. Surprise, surprise. He is rather big, and he is a golem. He breathes rocks. And much like his friend, he's vulnerable... Ow, jeez! He's only vulnerable by getting hit in the front of the leg here. If I hit him in the arm, nothing happens. Gotta be a little more careful with him than I was with the great armor, I think. He'll just kind of continuously walk back and forth. Occasionally stop to breathe at me. Like that. Oh, jeez, I gotta move. And I can't hit him in the arm. I think his face is vulnerable, too. Yeah, it is. But the best part is just kind of stand in front of him like that and hit him in the leg. It doesn't take too long to take down. So we will encounter him again as a regular enemy, but not for quite some time. Not altogether all that difficult. And for our trouble, we get... Did you guys see that? There was something over here, wasn't there? Anyway, crack this open, and we get Skeleton Blaze, which is a slide on the ground attack by pressing attack when we're crouched. So now I can slide along the ground Mega Man style, classic Mega Man style, not X. And now I can get into those tiny little crevices actually by sliding underneath the walls. So that's nice. There it is again. So I know what this is. I'm just screwing with you guys. That is... Let's see if I can get you a good look at it. There it is. So this thing, it only shows up every once in a while. Like every, I think, 4th or 5th time you walk into this room, it shows up. That is Tsuchinoko. It's got a ton of health, as you can see. I was wailing on it. I still couldn't kill it before it ran away. Tsuchinoko, I learned, is actually a real-life myth, or not real-life, but it is an actual myth, like folklore legend in Japanese culture. Like if you spoke to a Japanese person, they would probably know what it is. Tsuchinoko is a very rare species of, like, I think it's a lizard or a worm or some kind of deal. Some kind of little creepy crawly thing. That being said, it is incredibly rare, considered to be very rare in folklore, and it is said to bring good luck if you encounter one. It's not like those horrible, you know, murder you mythological creatures like other folklores have, but I believe the Tsuchinoko in Japanese mythology is said to bring good luck if you find one. But again, they're incredibly rare and difficult to find. They're also not real, so that's part of the reason, but mythologically speaking, they're very rare. And it's the same deal with this game, that's the only Tsuchinoko in the whole game is right in that one spot. And as you saw, most of the time you walk into that room and it'll burrow away right away. Occasionally you walk in and it'll be outside and exposed, and you have a limited time to kill it and try to grab its soul before it burrows into the ground and runs away. And it does have an incredibly valuable soul, which I would like to get, but I'm not going to sit here and farm it because we'll be here all night. The particular soul that it drops, well, it drops its own soul, it reduces the cost of items in Hammer's shop by 30%. And that also includes reducing the price drastically. Oh, that was coffee or tea or something they dropped, and it fell through the floor. Darn it, I could have used a pick-me-up right now. At any rate, that includes the cost of that really expensive ring that I mentioned. It brings it down from 300,000 to a more reasonable 240,000. So, at any rate, I just realized we're a little bit over the time, so we're going to continue farming and... not farming, but plumbing through Dracula's Castle in the next episode. Sorry for running a little long, but I will see you guys in the next episode. Until that time, I really do appreciate you all watching. It means a lot to me. But until the next episode, I'll see you next time. This has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.